I'm standing in the middle of a farm in Colorado. And there's a bit of a food revolution going on here. Its leader, Kimbal Musk.
The Musk family is full of surprises, and that is most evident when we consider Elon's younger brother, Kimbal. While Elon is known as the richest man in the world, mainly through his work at SpaceX and Tesla,
So that's why, I see the value of Tesla as an accelerant, as a catalyst in that transition.
Kimbal, on the other hand, reportedly has multiple other sources of income, including a huge share in his brother's companies.
Giving away my personal Tesla Model 3.
This feat alone has sparked numerous speculations about Kimbal being secretly richer than Elon. But if that is true, why hasn't Kimbal been in the spotlight? To find out, join us as we reveal Kimbal Musk's hidden riches and exploits. Growing with Elon. For many who know a lot about leading figures in the tech industry, the inspiring background and success story of Elon Musk is almost common knowledge, but not so much is known about his younger brother, Kimbal, even though he played a major role in making Elon who he is today. Kimbal was born just 11 months after his brother on September 20th, 1972. Like Elon, he too was born in South Africa. Born into a family that valued ambition, both brothers had the wildest dreams any parent could think of. For Elon, it was the dream of effectively making Star Wars a reality, traveling to different planets, and building cities in various galaxies, starting from Mars. Kimbal's dreams were kind, if similar, but they weren't fully defined yet, as he simply joined in on his brother's wishes, excited to do great things with Elon as they got older. But life was just getting started, and fate had different plans. While little Elon and Kimbal were known for their bright, imaginative minds, they were also known for their strange obsessions. The elder brother found himself reading countless books on quantum physics and medieval fantasy at less than 10, while the younger brother always loved to get his hands dirty by planting seeds outside for fun, while donning his little cowboy hat. But perhaps what the family found most strange about Kimbal was his weird awe and profound respect for food. Although he wasn't a glutton by any means, he often got offended whenever any member of the family either wasted food or ate too much when they didn't need to, while others saw him as a pushover whenever he started rambling about the ongoing scarcity of food in the country and how hard life was for the farmers who grew them. His mother, May, was quite impressed. Of course, this came as no surprise to Errol, Kimbal's father. After all, May was already a renowned model and dietitian when he married her. She had been very vocal about the importance of healthy eating and exercise, but at the same time, she was by no means as obnoxious as Kimbal when talking about it. Despite this, Kimbal was never aware of his unique calling, often joining his siblings whenever they assisted his father in mining and engineering. Still, the young boy felt most alive when doing other things. Simple activities like camping and practical farming at school easily put a smile on his face, having a deep love for nature and adventure, while Elon spent most of his time in the local library. But his rich background and love for nature didn't make life easy. For context, the country at the time was going through major political conflicts, and things would only get much worse with the parents getting divorced in 1979. Kimbal was just 7 years old, unable to make sense of what just happened. They wouldn't be seeing their father as often anymore, and things only got harder when Elon decided to leave as well. It was a difficult moment for Kimbal, as Elon was the person he got along with the most. So it was no surprise when Kimbal reunited with Elon when they could both fend for themselves, and with the help of a mutual friend, they created Zip2, an electronic address service that made finding selected businesses faster and easier. Far beyond their expectations, the new company did very well, grossing over $300 million when it was sold to Compaq in 1999. Behind the scenes, All three founders were happy it performed very well. But while Elon and their mutual friend Greg Corey were ecstatic, Kimbal wasn't all that excited. Sure, the road leading to that moment was fun, but he wanted much more. Realizing what he truly wanted, Kimbal realized he had to make a hard choice, and the resulting decision would change his life forever. Entering the food industry. Taking a huge chunk of the money gotten from selling the $300 million software, Kimbal and Elon parted ways to pursue their different interests. Elon would go on to establish an online bank that would later become PayPal, while Kimbal would invest some money in the venture before leaving to start his career. Just as Elon was making great strides in the tech industry, Kimbal was now hoping to do great things in the food industry.
Hey guys, I'm Kimbal Musk, and I'm teaming up with Omaze to bring real food and learning gardens to kids across the country.
But given the kind of dream he had in mind, it wasn't going to be easy. Since he loved growing and cooking food, he needed the kind of job that would involve both hobbies without stress. And the result of this ambition was a brilliant idea. Kimbal wanted to own a restaurant producing good food cooked using the best ingredients grown by himself and other farmers who shared his passion.
It's high-calorie, low-nutrient food. And mostly it just doesn't taste very good.
With this goal in mind, Kimbal set off to New York. To make this a reality, he needed to learn from the best, so less than a week after moving to New York City, he joined the French Culinary Institute in 2001. Later that year, Kimbal had a life-changing experience. Shortly after a major explosive incident that occurred in New York City, Kimbal worked with those tasked with helping both the injured and the firefighters, who were kept busy for most of the day. That evening, Kimbal prepared and served lots of food for as many people as he could find. It felt exhausting at first, but seeing the smiles that came to the faces of countless victims and exhausted firemen as they ate the food he cooked almost brought tears to his eyes. Much later in his life, Kimbal would look back at that moment as when he witnessed the power of good food in bringing diverse people closer than ever, even during difficult times. He wasn't alone on this, as he was helped by his close colleagues Jen Lewin and Hugo Matheson. Thanks to their help, hundreds of affected civilians and workers had something good to eat that day, and it was a great experience for the three young chefs. Realizing how much good they accomplished together in one day, Jen and Hugo decided to join Kimbal in his wild dream. Together, they wanted to create a small restaurant that felt like part of a home, not just another public place. This idea was unique at the time, taking months of endless hard work, and the result of their endeavors was The Kitchen, a community bistro that became known for giving the most delicious food directly from local farms close by. In a few years, The Kitchen became very popular in Boulder, marked by a home-like atmosphere and delicious food that keep customers coming in large numbers. In the coming months, many customers kept pouring in large numbers. The numbers got so high that some suggested Kimbal and his crew expand the location to contain more customers, but that defeated the purpose of The Kitchen, which was designed to look and feel like an average room in the home reserved for cooking. Expanding the location would only make it look like every other restaurant out there, and they couldn't have it. So to solve this problem, the crew opened new locations. One was put up in Denver and the other in Chicago, with each strictly adhering to the founder's vision. Because of this, every customer felt at home, just as he hoped. With many local farmlands to work from and multiple locations bringing in millions of dollars each month, it's safe to say Kimbal had fulfilled his dream at this point. It was 2011, and he had done everything he'd set out to do from 7 years ago. But life as he knew it was far from over. In the years following the establishment of The Kitchen, most of Kimbal's life was marked by endless positivity. Both sharing a deep love for food and the community, Kimbal and Jen quickly went from single associates to married partners. In the coming years, they had 3 children together, but their union wasn't destined to last. By late 2010, the couple split, with Kimbal having custody of their children. Parenting these little ones gave great insights into how children are raised by most people to look at food, and thanks to his efforts, his kids stood out from the rest. Perhaps the biggest distinctive was his children's love for farming and nurtured preference to grow their food whenever they had the chance. It was a useful skill he had taught his children, who now followed his example, but most of the world didn't see things that way. And while he wasn't too bothered about it, fate once again had different plans. The Big Green Initiative. It was a cold morning in early 2010, and Kimbal had a lot on his mind that winter. Wanting to get the edge off through a bit of fun with his kids, Kimbal went outside to ski. He was quite confident in his skills, often choosing to take the most difficult routes through the steepest slopes. This was risky, even for someone as skilled as he was. Long story short, Kimbal suffered a severe accident that broke his neck and ruptured his spine. These injuries left him paralyzed for 3 days, and nobody knew if he was going to recover. These few days, according to Kimbal, were the most transformative hours of his life, and after a delicate surgery on the final day, he was able to move once again. He would go on to describe this event as a spiritual awakening, one which granted a much deeper sense of purpose. It made him more passionate about the things he believed in, and the result of this experience was the Big Green Initiative. With Hugo's help, Kimbal started a non-profit organization aimed at teaching young children how to grow their food. This way, young people would have a lifelong appreciation for healthy food and self-reliance. Through this initiative, Kimbal and Hugo were able to build multiple learning gardens at various schools where children could learn about basic nutrition, starting a farm, and caring for the environment. Thanks to this, children across various places were able to develop healthier eating habits and had a fun time knowing where their food came from. Many organizations supported Kimbal in this quest, but over the years, the initiative was put through a lot of problems. For one, the through Hume sums of money poured in from supporters, it was hardly ever enough. Because of this, the organization had to lay off several employees to make things work. Despite these setbacks, Big Green was able to build hundreds of learning gardens in schools across the country. Many of these schools were so enthusiastic about it that they added all the activities at the learning gardens to their curriculums, encouraging teachers to get involved as much as they could. For description, the gardens were vibrant and colorful, often built within schoolyards where children could easily get their hands on things. Each garden has raised beds filled with soil, divided into various sections for different kinds of plants. Between these sections are pathways for children to pass through, and other spaces for keeping compost bins, watering cans, tool sheds, and much more. With colorful signs identifying various tools, sections, and plants, many children looked forward to spending time at these places. At this point, it was safe to say the Big Green Initiative was a success. But, as usual, Kimbal had something much bigger in mind: the Square Roots Initiative. In early 2016, Kimbal met popular AI and tech entrepreneur Tobias Peggs. Kimbal had a lot in common with him. For one, they both had a strong foundation in all things tech and engineering, but despite this, they also had a strong love for farming and the environment. Tobias, at this point, had made a name for himself in the tech industry, known for leading industrial giants like Aviary Photos and One Riot Analytics. Both of them met as guests at the 2016 United Nations Climate Change Conference, and they easily became friends, sharing lots of interests, including a shared passion for reforming the food industry. They both dreamed of using advanced technologies to grow fresh food in cities both in and out of season. Kimbal brought his vast knowledge of farming, while Tobias brought in his latest tech, and the result of their endeavors was the Square Roots Initiative. Launching on November 1st, 2016, the Square Roots Initiative was first put up in Brooklyn, New York. The official aim was to provide fresh food at an affordable price all year round through shipping containers, providing the right conditions that mimicked various seasons suitable for various kinds of plants. For example, tomatoes and corn are plants that grow very well during summer and hardly grow during winter. Peas, on the other hand, generally do well in cooler seasons but struggle to grow during the hotter times of the year, like summer. Because of these limitations, certain plants are only planted during specific times each year. Once those seasons pass, farmers usually have to wait until the following year to grow them. But thanks to square roots, such practices have effectively become a thing of the past, as most limited plants can now be grown wherever, whenever, and forever. Most impressively, these farms could be either increased or decreased in scale, depending on how much power the farmer can afford. This effectively reduced the need for travel from large farms to local restaurants or outlets, giving quicker access to consumers before anything goes bad. Without the need for vehicles transporting harvests to large shops, several carbon footprints would cease, and work in general would be faster and easier. To make this technology available for all farmers, Kimbal and Tobias launched the Next Gen Farmer Training Program in 2017. By 2019, the initiative expanded by partnering with Gordon Food Service to open a large garum in Michigan, bringing fresh fruits and vegetables of all kinds to the Great Lakes region. During this time, Kimbal reunited with his older brother Elon Musk, who had now established himself among several young tech enthusiasts as the real-life Tony Stark. His many exploits at SpaceX had gotten much attention and support from NASA, and multiple trusted legal authorities, including the Pentagon, were now using his products to make covert operations faster and easier. At a private meeting in Las Vegas, Kimbal brought up Elon's ongoing plans to establish a city on Mars by the next decade, promising to use his advanced technologies at Square Roots to make it a reality. Elon found it interesting, as growing food in climate-controlled units was much safer than relying on the lesser-known climate of the Red Planet. As of today, Kimbal has major shares in Tesla and SpaceX, along with multiple investments in real estate and hundreds of farming startups, making people wonder, just how rich is Kimbal Musk? Well, there is only one way to find out: Kimbal's immense wealth. At first glance, Kimbal's casual appearance might give the impression that he is just another regular guy who loves farming. But don't let the cowboy hat fool you, as Kimbal is arguably one of the richest farmers in the world. While his brother Elon is mainly focused on tech and renewable energy, Kimbal has multiple streams of income, including major shares and board memberships at Tesla and SpaceX. Understandably, due to these streams of income, many go far enough to claim Kimbal is richer than Elon. As wild as that sounds, the truth is that we don't know. Unlike his more famous brother, Kimbal lives more on a low key, rarely making a flex on anything related to his wealth. With that established, the best we can do is make an intelligent guess based on estimated earnings from each of his investments. But keep in mind, his actual net worth is likely many times higher than anything we are about to show you. As we've shown earlier, Kimbal is a leading board member of Tesla and SpaceX, earning both salaries while holding multiple stock options. For context, his Tesla shares alone are estimated to be around $200 million, and that, of course, excludes his monthly salaries at both companies, along with his other stock options and many honorary loyalties. The kitchen has now evolved into an official group of forms at multiple locations. Conservative estimates imply that his current stake at the kitchen group currently is at least $50 million. A good sum on its own, no doubt, but keep in mind that it doesn't include regular profit sharing, consulting fees, frequent brand partnerships and sponsorships, speaking engagements, merchandise sales, loyalties from various educational programs for upcoming chefs looking to benefit from his work at these locations, and much more. But if you thought that was all, brace yourself. We are just getting started. Kimbal's public investments in Square Roots are estimated to be just over $20 million. But in reality, there is much more to take into account, such as the immense support gotten from various bodies to support his projects and various returns from farmers who paid in installments for an extra bit of interest. His early investments in Zip2 and X.com culminated in almost 30 million, which is highly unlikely given that he was a founding member of the first venture. His other investments include support for hundreds of real estate, tech, and agricultural businesses, all of which accumulate to over $30 million. Combining only the sources that have been made known to the public, Kimbal's net worth totals about $500 million. But as we've covered, it fails to account for over a dozen other streams of income, pumping billions into his accounts each year. So, while the big question remains without a definite answer, one thing is clear: Kimbal Musk is far richer than most people think. Do you think Kimbal is truly richer than his brother? And do you know his actual net worth, with all sources considered? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.